bandits and other agents of darkness are crushed. I'll be hanging out with Adewale Adeoye and Chris Kendi Wandu. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with the economy. It appears the more efforts are being made to save the Naira, the more it dips in the value against major currencies in the world. The Naira has dipped once again, and this time it has fallen to a record 1,300 Naira against the dollar. In the black markets, experts are worried that the alarming rates at which the value of the Naira is dropping is adding pressure to an already fragile economy of the country. CKN, we feel this pain and we're still feeling it. It's very, very, very difficult that if we are exchanging the record of 1,300 to $1.
That's one of the highest we've ever seen. Since
yes.
I'm just you want to put it as one of the highest. It's the highest we've ever noticed since the days when we changed into Naira from our old currency, and it is not looking good at all. And we say time and time again that certain economic measures have to be put in place to be able to make sure that this does not happen. Record high in the past 6 months, we are seeing it moving from 700 to 800, 900. At a point, we are told and we are warned that it will get to 1,000 Naira. I personally didn't believe that until what we are seeing now. Then the issue is not, we just have to get something, we have to do something. And that is, I've said it time and time again, is that until we stop being an import-driven country, we continue to be where we are. When we continue to import, and we are not having relative exports to be able to earn more from foreign exchange. That is always the problem. Then secondly is also, when we're talking about the issue of the majority of our, we spend so much in the importation of fuel. That in itself has put so much pressure on the dollar. And that is what we were saying, that if we have done something in the past 8 years to be able to revive our refineries and make sure that just as we're exporting and earning, we don't get to the point where we have to be importing petroleum products and other allied products like diesel, like aviation fuel, like kerosene. But good enough, the Port Harcourt refinery, from what we are told, will soon start full production. We also believe in that the Dangote petroleum refinery will also start full production. Whether that's going to have any major effect is what I don't understand. But we must diversify this economy. Over-dependence on crude oil export will not help us. We have to look at other areas like agriculture, mining, and other sectors where we can be able to start earning enough foreign exchange, or else we'll continue to go down.
How can we rescue this Naira?
Well, I think there are a lot of factors responsible for very weak currency. And those factors are local and international. What makes a country growth is the growth in domestic economy. What makes a currency to be very strong. And then the country's balance of trade. You know, and demand and supply in the forex market. These are very key, important issues. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, when you are talking in terms of growth in the past few years, we have not been meeting the expected standards. And if you look at what the country has gone through in the past 8 years, you know, our economy has continued to diminish in almost every aspect. The purchasing power, to the extent that even the Nigerian currency is weaker compared with Togolese franc. You know, if you look at some of these artisans who are from Togo and Benin Republic, talk to them, they will tell you it's more profitable to work in Togo and, you know, Benin Republic than to come and work in Nigeria. Except that there are more jobs here for them than going back to their country. And you are talking of a country that is supposed to be the strongest, the regional power, you know. More people are even moving to Togo, to Ghana to go and work preferring to stay in that country than to come and, if you want to import your car, you prefer to bring it in from Togo or Benin Republic. Imagine Americans preferring to go to Haiti to buy cars, with a population of 200 million. We are not doing anything with our population. And of course, when you look at corruption, the corruption industry is one of the biggest industry. People have a lot of funds. They have a lot of idle funds in banks, in billions. They are not investing the funds. And of course, when you look at the fact that people are being discouraged from keeping their funds, in the bank. Look at the treasury bills. How much do you get the treasury bill? Look at interest rates. So people prefer to keep their funds at home. And I think we don't have an effective framework for monitoring transactions in the forex market. A lot of people are keeping dollars at home. They just wait. They are speculators. They keep it at a time, waiting that in the next 6 months, the price will go up so that they can trade in forex. So we need a lot of fiscal discipline, and it's not just by saying it. It has to be in practice. And I hope that we realize that the consequences are many, because more people will lose their jobs, factories will leave the country in droves, and there'll be more unemployment, and then it's going to affect the political stability of the country. So I hope in the next few months we have a framework that can be, that can address the fundamentals, not just paying lip service. And I think it's time for government to have strategic consultation with the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, because they have a lot of ideas to offer. It's not just the Minister of Finance or the CBN alone. These are the people who are involved in manufacturing, so they can give a lot of advice to the government, even in terms of waivers. Maybe for some of them that want to import raw materials, they should be able to buy, the dollars at a kind of control rate, not just not buying at the regular rate in the market. So we need to consult with the manufacturing sector. I believe they have a lot of ideas to share with the government.
All right. I have Usman Musa from Abuja.
Good evening, Mr. Ayo.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
What I want to make, the contribution I want to make is to let people realize that we have tried almost all the economic theory in the world, and it's not working. So our advice, we use the psychological method, and the psychological method shows that we have to realize that an average Nigerian man is a survivor person. So no matter the principle you bring, it will not work in Nigeria unless you start doing the right thing by arresting the people and locking them in the cell. No matter the principle you bring in Nigeria, it will not work. In the whole world, Nigeria has the highest number of people that have this survival instinct. So any policy you bring, there are people that are waiting to survive on it. How will it work? Just go back from 1960 up to now. We have tried almost all the principle in the world, but it's not working.
Thank you.
And you think it will work?
Thank you. I think democracy will not allow us to arrest people and to lock people up arbitrarily.
Yes,
this is democracy.
Yes, this is
we
democracy.
opted for it. And
yes, but I want to chip in on something he said, and he's talking about the manufacturing sector. There are several indices that must drive that sector. Number one is power. We have to address these fundamentals. When you talk about manufacturing, what are we generating in terms of power? Most of the companies, foreign companies, are closing in Nigeria and moving to our neighboring countries, Ghana, Benin, Togo, and the likes. And we're talking of the SMEs have practically died naturally. It is the SMEs that drive the economy. When we are the average barber, the hairdresser, and the rest of them that are supposed to use power, that are supposed to use electric, cannot be able to get electricity. So it's a big fundamental. So when we continue about exporting, how do you export? Because, which is why it is much easier that the goods and services or goods that are coming from outside the country are cheaper than the one we are manufacturing here. And that's why you're having the Chinese as flooding everywhere, flooding the market. So they cannot be, the local manufacturers cannot compete. Go to Aba. Aba is supposed to be the hub of, what do you call it now, the SMEs, shoe making, dressing, clothes, and the rest of them. Most of them cannot be able to run those businesses. And we have said it time and time again. There is a need for us to be able, if we can get power right, you'll be shocked that this economy will just kickstart. And that is why I think this current government should focus on. Focus should be on power. How do we be able to generate power? How do we be able to distribute enough? We cannot even distribute what we have. Because the capacity, there's one is generation, another one is distribution. We generated about 6,000, and this thing cannot take more than 4,000. So what do we do? So that is a critical area. Once we're able to address some of these issues, then you know that we are home and dry. But if we don't, we'll continue going on this slide. And finally, our economic team should also be very, very strategic. I'm talking of the economic team of this current government, led by the Minister of Finance. I'm talking of the CBA, the governor, the finance minister, and all relevant. There was something that Obasanjo did in 1999 when he took over. We have practically had the same problem. But he was able to bring some eggheads, bipartisan. It's not about a political party, bipartisan. That was when he brought people like Okonjo-Iweala. He brought, what's this woman? What's her name? Obi. Somebody like, yes, Ezekwesili. He brought the central bank governor. He brought even the guy at BP, the former governor of Kaduna State. He brought all these young people together, and we formed the core team of the economic team, and we saw what happened along the line. I think this government can still do that, looking beyond the political party for rescue effort. But the way we are going, AY, is more difficult buying tickets to fly out of Nigeria now. You know the cost of tickets? Nigerians now go to Ghana, they go to Togo, they go to Benin to buy tickets in order to travel out of Nigeria. Because the cost to travel now is almost double what it costs for somebody in Ghana to do. It's a big problem. And all the airlines now, foreign airlines, are now insisting that you must buy their tickets in dollar. If you are going to buy it in Naira, you are going to pay 2 or 3 times almost the equivalent of what they are paying. So it is a big issue here. And I hope that the president will be able to get this resolved as soon as possible.
All right.